welcome to the Digital Heart Business Podcast for successful entrepreneurs with heart. My name is Claus-Stefan. I'm digital business mentor, founder and CEO of the ISTD GmbH, a German e-commerce company, and I would like to inspire you on your way from an offline coach to become an online coach. I'm so honored and happy to have in my episode number 50 Dr. Roy Martina as my guest. He's an author and quantum trainer. Our topic today: how can we learn to channel and make this planet a better place for everyone? Dear Roy, please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm in the meantime 60-year-old, so I call myself a dinosaur. I've been to many phases of life, but my main, I would say, experience from two fields. One, the first field was holistic medicine. I've been a doctor now for 44 years, and I've treated thousands of people, created my own holistic therapies. I lived in America, was asked to teach. Then I started teaching, became a trainer, traveled all over the world, China, Russia, England, just Europe, South America. And I love teaching. I love to share my experience and knowledge with people. And my other, let's say, part is I'm a researcher. I like to find out why things work, how they work, and so on. And when I was 19, I had a car accident, broke my neck, and I was supposed to be paralyzed for the rest of my life. But something strange happened, and a nurse came to me, put a hand on my forehead, and 2 days later, I woke up again, and my body was healed, which opened a new door. And I've been looking since then to find, I would say, the mystique of life. I mean, some people call it spirituality, and for a while I thought that was it. But what I discovered 10 years ago through hypnosis, that we can connect to the whole universe, even to more than the universe. And at the same time, I just met my wife Joy, and together we started this journey to discover what is in the universe. And after 4 years of doing hours of questioning, because I was using Joy like a phone, so you must imagine she would go into trance, and then we would connect her to a being, an intelligent being from another dimension, another world, another planet. And I would ask questions. I want to know everything. I want to know how the human race was created. Why are there extraterrestrials coming to the earth? Were they coming to the earth? And on and on and on and so on. So after 4 years of doing that kind of research, discovering a lot, we decided to focus on how can we make this practical for us? How can we ask questions and be guided on our path? And since 5 years, I think 5, 6 years, we have a group of beings that are invisible. You cannot see, they're not from this planet. And I call them our boss. We are employees. They are the employers. We have a good, let's say, employers contract. So we know how much we have to work on this kind. So we've been guided by these beings. And what they want us to do is help more people to awaken to who they truly are. If you know who you are and you can experience your true essence, then you don't want to go back to what we call your false persona, your false identity, because we are so powerful, so full of love, so full of creativity. And so this is what we've been doing in the last couple of years, to teach people how to find the true power, how to awaken. Who are we? Why are we here? Why do we come in this time right now here? So that's an ongoing adventure, and we're still exploring that kind of thing. And because we didn't want it become too spiritual, we call this more, we are looking more at the laws in quantum science. So we have spirituality and religion, and we have also science. And quantum science, there's specific laws. When you follow these laws, your life will improve, you will feel better, your health will improve, everything will become different. So that's what we're doing now, teaching and exploring more.
Okay, and what challenges did you have to master within the last years? I think if you're on that way, it's not easy every time going up straightforward. I think there are also some obstacles in the way.
Yeah, but not, I wouldn't say the challenges are
Okay.
more not outside, but inside,
Mm.
in the sense, once you know who you are and who you are not, but who you are not is how you behave. You understand?
Okay.
So the gap between knowing who I am supposed to be and knowing where I am is a big challenge of frustration because we are constantly struggling with the human side. You see, that's the biggest struggle in everything. I know how I can be, but I let's say when I say to someone, I am love, but I'm not always aware of that. You see, I know I'm loved, but I'm not always behaving like that person that is loved. So that's the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is to stay on your path, is to not to do things that will take you away, because the biggest challenge are what I call distractions or seductions. Seductions is when you get a great offer, whatever, but it will take you in another direction. So, for example, I was in Russia, and at that time they were having the scandal of doping with the
Mhm.
Olympics, and the Russians offered me a lot of money to come coach to top Olympics, but that was not my path. That was not what I should be doing. And sometimes that's very frustrating. So, for example, another challenge was that we were living in America, and all of a sudden we get the message, you need to leave America. I don't like that because we had the perfect home. I have the best gym in the world, and now they tell me I have to leave. I mean, these are the challenges.
Mhm.
The biggest challenge is to have unshakable faith, and your ego is always thinking it knows it a little bit better. So you need to overcome that fight with your ego and stay the course. And so much things come on your path, but you need to know which choices are supposed to be yes, which choices are no. I would say those are the main challenges. Outside of that, there are not many challenges.
Okay, so normally then once you have made that decision and you think, oh, it's not logical, but I think some weeks or months later you see the gift inside of that decision later.
Yeah, normally, yes. Let's say, for example, we have to move away from United States. So the question is where we're going to move. So then we hear Portugal. But then we go to Portugal, we cannot find the right house, whatever. You get frustrated. So, but it may take 2 or 3 years before we know the why. The one thing I do know is that America has become too dangerous for us because of the channeling course we're doing right
Mhm.
now. We are getting information that can change the world. So we cannot do that in the States because of the FBI. They can come and take everything because we are getting information to how to change energy, how to change the economy. And I can do it, but I cannot do it by myself. But this doing that in the States is much more dangerous than doing it in Europe. So we understand that, but it doesn't mean we like it, right?
Mhm.
It's a different thing. Okay.
Okay, and yeah, another question: how can we learn to channel? Because I think the people are now seeing the interview and they are interested and think, that information can be helpful to me. It can improve my life. It can move me
Absolutely.
to the next level or support my business. What would you tell them? What is the best way to
Right.
learn
But
channeling?
first thing we need to understand exactly what channeling is, because otherwise for some people it might be not
Spooky.
very clear. What are they talking about, right? So the first thing we need to understand is that the body comes with three centers of intelligence. So we have the head, we have the heart, and we have the, how do you call it, the abdomen, the belly, right? And each of these centers have enormous what we call synaptic complexes. So according to science, the heart is also intelligence center, and the belly is also can take decisions and make conclusions and have processes. So the most people are stuck in how they make choices. Okay, so for example, your head is always trying to find the best way, think, okay, this is a logical way, let's go there. So the head is trying to rationalize with us. This is better than that, right? But some people can be stuck in over analyzing. They keep
Mm.
thinking too much, and then they don't do what they need to do. Then we have the stomach, the belly. That is where we go into action. So in Japan, they call it the hara. This is where you move forward. That's where your courage is. That's where your power is. Also in your solar plexus. But the heart is the compass. And the heart is the bridge between the lower parts, the material parts, the lower three chakras, and the upper three chakras. So the heart is where we need to take the best decision. The heart will tell you left or right. That is
Mm.
the normal procedure from the body. So I would say the heart is level of intuition. It's the first level of intuition. But then the part that most people don't know is in the brains, we have a special little organ called the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is quite interesting because we can consider that to be the sender and receiver, just like a radio. We can tune into radios, but we can also send out information. The pineal gland is where we can receive that information from the whole universe. Now, the problem is that the universe is not the way we think it is. So number one, we live in linear time, but in the universe they know parallel time, and there is no linear time like we experience it. So what does that mean? It means that when we're living our life in a linear time, they are at the same time other lives that we are also living, not consciously, but I call these double gangers of us are living in parallel time, experiencing a different variation of our lives. So that's the one thing we need to understand. Some variations are much better than we have right now, and some variations are much worse than we have right now. So part of what channeling is deciding also where do you want to get your information from, because the universe is unlimited. You can talk to, I would say, low level entities which are not very intelligent or don't have good intentions, or you can talk with ascended masters, angels, and so on and so on. So what we teach people, number one, is to first connect with what we call the highest self. The highest self is when you die, I mean, you don't die, but your body dies, then you return to where you come from, and there you are in your highest self form. And that form knows everything about you. It knows why you're here, what your mission is, what you came to do, and so on and so on. So we teach people how to come to contact with the higher self. That's one part. And then we have other guides that we need. So when you're going to write a book, you're going to consult another guide. So if you're in business and you want to invest, you want to talk with a strategist or someone who knows if this investment is a good investment or not. And so in that way, channeling is receiving information that you do not have from your life. You do not have from Googling on internet. You don't have that from reading books. So if we look at wisdom, we have three levels of wisdom. Level one is your own wisdom, and that is through your experience. I call it falling down, getting up, and finding out the hard way often how something works. That's your own experience. Then you have borrowed wisdom by reading books, going to workshops, watching videos. You learn a lot of things. Okay, a guru says this, but you've not experienced that. So a lot of people are talking about things they not experienced, but they've heard in a workshop or in a book, and they pretend like they know it, but it's borrowed information. And then the other one is what I would call higher wisdom. And in the higher wisdom, we have, of course, your higher self, but you have the whole universe. Your higher self is just a little part of a bigger system. And channeling is getting information outside of the three-dimensional world, predominantly, in the infinite universe. So, but you need to understand there are infinite channels. I mean, signals coming all the time. So a big practical thing is, what do you want to tune in? That's why we say
Mm.
start with your higher self and let your higher self guide you to other sources as
Mm.
well. And we stumbled upon this by accident. We went, Joy and I, Joy's my wife, we went to a hypnosis training called quantum healing hypnosis from Dolores Cannon. And when she hypnotized a person and the person starts to talk, it was not the person who was talking, it was their highest self. And the body was used just like a phone. So we could back and forth and talk to that. So that's how we got into channeling. It's getting information from another source. And it is amazing. I believe it's the best thing we can learn in life, period. That's the whole thing.
Okay. And how do you select the being to which you are connected? How do you know if it's the correct, the highest being available, the best for which can supply the best available information for your question?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the trick, and we had to learn it the hard way. We've talked to a lot of beings who were not so good. But so there are a couple of things going on in there. One is you have to set an intention in the right way, so that you are the one deciding. You must imagine that it's like a radio. You tune into the radio, and if you don't like the channel, what do? You change
You
the
change
damn
it.
channel, right? So the one thing you need to know is that it is the entities, the beings you want to channel with, all of them have to serve the light. You want them to be there for the good of humanity, to the good of you. And there's a way to do that by intention. And everything that you experience should be in a loving frequency. You see, if you're talking to Jesus, Jesus doesn't get angry. Jesus doesn't. So if you talk to a being and he's getting angry, then it's not the
Okay.
idea, because they don't have emotion. It might just be someone who died recently and still is a soul with a lot of emotion. So that's one thing. So we have intentions, and then we have protection. So we teach people how to protect themselves, so that we are surrounded by light beings. So we call upon the light beings. But in our course that we have created, we go through we call it purging. It's cleansing process. It's about first changing your beliefs. What kind of beliefs do you have? Limiting beliefs about what you can do, because we can do so much more than we ever will know in this life. If I tell people, for example, that for 6 months I didn't eat and drink, I was just living on what's called prana, that's impossible. Many people say that's not possible. And, but it is possible. So there's much more possible. If you tell a person that you can learn how to travel outside of your body, astral travel, people tell you, no, you're crazy. So there's so much we can do. We can do healing on distance. We can get information from other people on distance. We can find people in a city with 1 million people. There's so many things we can do. So, but the most important thing in the beginning is to increase our frequencies in such a way that we're no longer attracted by lower frequencies. So the first 6 weeks of the course, that's what we're doing. We're preparing people to raise the frequencies, and also to release any kind of trauma, any type of heavy energies that may be holding them back. And then the higher frequencies, the higher the access is that you can get. So, for example, most of us can never talk to God directly. We tried, but but what we understood is you need to have a very high frequency in order to receive that frequency, because that frequency is too high for our bodies. So, for example, when Joy is communicating with a very high frequency, she can get hot. Her body can, it's like she can get a temperature. She can start sweating because of the frequency. So in training, step by step, you get more access to higher frequencies, because everything is also having the ability to get accustomed to a certain frequency, because the body needs to deal with the frequency as well. So when, for example, when we do vocal channeling, there are many different ways of channeling. Vocal channeling is when another entity is using your vocal cords to speak through you. Now, when you experience that, some people may feel that there's another energy with them, Sometimes we notice that the voice changes. I remember one time I was doing an 8-hour guided meditation challenge nonstop, and I was channeling different entities. And one time I was channeling an Indian guru,
Mhm.
and I start talking like with an Indian accent, which I cannot do when I want to, but in a talking it was. And when you with some extraterrestrials, it is slower. Other extraterrestrial, it's non-emotional. It is very scientific. So channeling is receiving information from other sources, not from this planet, even though they could have lived on this planet, but some of them never have lived on this planet. They could be in other dimensions, and also with masters, all those kind of things. So that's what we call channeling, and it's training.
Mhm.
Everybody channels, but they don't know that they're channeling.
Yeah, and another question about the pineal gland, as it is a sender and the receiver for this process. What
Mhm.
would you recommend to clean and activate the pineal gland?
Okay, so first of all, the pineal gland is sensitive to heavy metals and also certain chemicals. So detoxing is always good. We can use also homeopathic remedies. So there are different remedies. So one remedy that we found is very good because often these metals and chemicals create calcification in
Mhm.
the pineal gland, and in the pineal gland there are crystals, and then the crystals get too heavy. So one remedy that has been used very effectively was calcium fluoratum, so calcium fluor, homeopathic, in a D12 or 12X, and that helps to decalcify it. In the training itself, we use different methods. We use acupressure points, so we tap certain points. We're using certain chakra techniques to do that, and we use our mind because I'm a specialist in mind.
Mhm.
I've cured thousands of people from cancer just using their mind. And we once we train our mind, the mind can do anything any remedy can do. So you do not really need remedies. You can take, for example, water, and you can put information into the water with your mind, with your intention,
Mhm.
and you can do that also to clean your pineal gland. And so we do that in the training, and people can do that by themselves. Every time you take water, you close your eyes, you set the intention, okay, may this water heal my pineal gland, may this water open my pineal gland even more, so my pineal gland can now function even better. So just by doing that, I mean, you don't need much, and it works. It works immediately. If my mind can cure cancer, just think about it. It can heal the pineal gland. It's not that complicated, but we
Okay.
can use other methods as well that we know from our holistic practices. But
Mhm.
I would say that is the main thing. And the other thing that has been very helpful is a stone from Russia, and it's called shungite.
Mhm.
Shungite is it's an asteroid or meteorite that slammed into Russia. It is a black stone, but the structure is not an earthly structure. It's very cheap to get, because it's a big asteroid. And so shungite, if you put it in water,
Mhm.
it helps to detoxify the body. If you put it next to your computer, it helps to block the electromagnetic
Mhm.
stress of computers. So shungite is a very, very good thing that we recommend to people in the channeling course, to put it in the water, and this helps to pull out the toxins out of the pineal gland, but also out of the body. So
Mhm.
that's another way to do it. So it's quite simple,
Mhm.
non-expensive, and easy to do. Mhm.
Yeah, and in the course, there's also a special video with a graphic, a black video with a white graphic that is very, very fascinating, and I really, really like it. It's really
Yeah,
amazing what it does with your pineal gland if you try it.
right. It's from a friend of mine, of ours, and his name is Janos. He's an incredible extraterrestrial artist.
Okay.
His art is not from this planet, right? And most people have heard of sacred geometry.
Mhm.
He is channeling Arcturian sacred geometry. Arcturian is another planet. I've
Mhm.
never been there, so I don't even know where it is, but it is specific art. And what he discovered is that sacred geometry and the way he uses activates the deeper levels of our consciousness. So it is not something like a medicine or remedy, but it works on our DNA, it works on our chakras, and it activates deeper blueprints. And especially for this course, he gave us I think it's like a 6 or 10 minute
Mhm.
pineal gland activation that also helps to open the pineal gland and to do. So we do this. We activate the pineal gland for at least 6 weeks.
Mhm.
So I mean, a lot of people just looking at this little video already the pineal gland opens. They already start getting visions. It's quite amazing. It's really
Yeah,
interesting.
it's really amazing, and you change if you do the course. I can really
Oh yeah.
tell you. And
Yeah.
another question I have: do you have examples of actionable information that we can receive through channeling in the
Oh,
way you teach it?
many. But one thing that is important also
Mhm.
in the cleansing, I forgot to mention,
Okay.
is that a lot of people have memories of lives where they were punished for being a channel,
Mhm.
because when you open your sixth sense, there was a fear, the fear, they would call them
Yeah.
witches and this and that. A lot of people been burned, killed, or had to hide. Even Nostradamus had to hide his talents because it was not allowed by the church to be able to see the future. So the religion in the West was very against channeling. When you go to other religions like where there are shamans, they were open to channeling. That's where the opposite
Yeah.
from what was happening here. All right, so that's one thing. Now, channeling is, a lot of people think channeling is something spiritual. Let me first say, channeling has nothing to do with spirituality. The same like a radio has nothing to do with spirituality. All right, so if you take a radio or television set, you can choose any channel you want. Anybody can be trained to channel or to have these paranormal skills. Even a murderer or criminal can learn channeling, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. So there are many practical things that come out of this. So, for example, I'm going to give you a few examples that happened to us. One was that a friend of mine in Switzerland, he was working on a project to recycle organic material
Mhm.
and make diesel and kerosene for airplanes, but the diesel did not remain stable. So, and we were just talking on the phone. He was totally frustrated. He had several professors working on it, and so on and so on. And his name is Reinhard. I said,
Mhm.
Reinhard, you know what? Give me a half an hour. I'm going to check a few things when I call
Mhm.
you back. And then I had a student with me, Elisa, an Italian student, 22 years old, and she was being trained in channeling. And I asked her to channel, and we connected to an intelligent being and asked the being, "What is the problem?" And the being said, they are using a kind of plastic that is not okay. And he,
Uh-huh.
he mentioned a certain thing. So I called Reinhard up. I said, listen, this is what I got. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if it's true. Do it. And everything was normal. Everything was okay. Another practical example. Uh, we had a house in Holland. We just sold it this year. And there was a leak
Mhm.
on the first floor in our what we called it bathroom, and
Mhm.
then and it was leaking through to the living room, and we called the plumber. The plumber came and he checked everything, couldn't find anything. So then we channeled, and then we called the plumber back and told him where the leak was, and he
Ah.
came back and he did the leak. So it could be that practical. So it could be also something. Should I invest in this or not?
Mhm.
For example, we get a lot of people saying this is wonderful, that's
Mhm.
wonderful. We never say yes or no. We channel and check should we do it or not,
Uh-huh.
and then we get an answer. So for example, if you want to do an investment, or should you do this workshop or not. So for
Uh-huh.
example, someone said, oh, you should go to Joe Dispenza because he's doing something same like you guys are doing, and so on and so on. Okay, I said, well, let's channel, should we go, not go? They say yes, go. So we went to Joe Dispenza, and there we didn't learn anything. We were very impressed how he was doing his thing, but let's say our information was much more detailed than he had. But he was doing, I would say, meditation for 6, 7 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was magical because I got 200 pages downloaded of information, a whole plan for what we need to do with the
Yeah.
channeling scores, how we can train people to even get information of the future and change technology, for example, or
Mm-hmm.
that we can change things for global warming, all those things we're working on. And that's why United States is not a good place to be,
Mm-hmm.
because we're getting information that can change this planet. And I think by next year, we will have certain things that we can bring out in the world, all coming from channeling, from not from us, from other sources. But it's very practical. But also, where do we have to go to live? Is this,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, Portugal is a big country. Should we live here, here, or here? They will give you a specific answer where to look for the best place to live. And they're telling us, okay, just take it easy. The right place will show up in the right time. So the most important part you need to learn is to trust the channeling 100%,
Mm-hmm.
because you need to follow. You cannot say yes, but not today. Let's do it in a month. No, no, no. It's you need to trust, and they follow. That's the whole trick.
Okay.
Mhm.
And also the raise of the frequency is so important that we are connected to the right source. What could you recommend to raise our frequency?
There are many, many different things. So first we need to understand, what do we mean with raising of
Mm-hmm.
frequency. So there's a book called by I think it's Hawkins, Dr. Hawkins,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a book called Power versus Force, and he tested the frequencies of almost everything, including the emotions. So if we look at emotions, we look at guilt and shame, those are the lowest
Mm-hmm.
frequency. And then we get fear, and then we get aggression, and on and on. And then at some point, and he made a scale from 10 to 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, you are in the higher frequency. So then you get into joy, into gratitude, into bliss, into integrity, respect, all those kind of things. So when we look at these scales, they call this also the scales of consciousness, you will see that emotions are lower frequencies. So here we already get one big secret. If you are stuck in emotions, your frequencies are
Mm-hmm.
low. So especially if you have emotions that are not resolved, so let's say you carrying with you still anger, or
Mm-hmm.
you're scared, or you are frustrated, or you are insecure, those are lower frequencies. So we need to learn how to bypass these frequencies, how to stay in the higher frequencies. So one good point is, a lot of people talk about love. Love in itself is a range of frequencies. So love is authenticity, it is respect, it is gratitude, it is joy, it is bliss. It is finding the gracious way in life, living a life without resistance. So we need to find that peace inside first. So everything that takes our mind into all kinds of circular problems, like thinking negatively, judgment, all those things will lower our frequencies.
Okay.
So the goal is to establish a baseline, to train people how to be in the baseline of love, the
Mm-hmm.
baseline of integrity, authenticity, speaking your truth, standing up, courage, all those kind of things. So uh, these are higher frequencies. That's one part, emotional. And then we have mental, negative thoughts, negative beliefs, judgments are also low frequency. So we need to learn to create positive thoughts, kindness, those kind of things, seeing the greatness in others, doing things just because you can help someone.
Mm-hmm.
So it is becoming outwardly focused, how to be kind and help others, to support others. That's a other way to do. And then we have, for example, the place where you live. You can live in a place with low frequencies, right? So, for example, you could be living in an apartment, it's dark or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It can be low. So you can use crystals, nice colors, to bring up the frequencies of the environment. That's very important. and take away low frequencies from things like Wi-Fi, telephones, those kind. When you go to sleep, you want to sleep in high frequencies. You may want to use crystals and those kind of things around you, and so on. Nice lights. That is so. Environment is also very important. And then another one is two more. One is your nutrition. Normally, animal proteins bring us down because they have lower vibrations, especially if the animals are treated in inhumane ways. And the way we treat the animals now, in general, is horrible, right? So those kind of animals have a high level of low frequencies and hormones of stress. We don't want that. So the less the food is processed, the more photons of light and the higher the frequency. So that's very important. And you want to keep your nutrition simple. You don't want to mix a lot of things. So we eat very, very simple, not because we cannot afford expensive food, but because it's better for us, right? And another way to increase your frequencies is stress management. Anytime you feel stressed, stop, go inside, breathe, meditate, do whatever you need to, but you do not want to stay in a stressful situation. So we want to create a life filled with joy, ease, and grace. That's all it is. And this is all part of the training to give you all these ideas so that we can maintain a high level of frequency. And because of that, everything in your life changes. Because here's the trick, what people need to understand. When I'm in high frequencies, I am sending this out in the universe, but those high frequencies, I feel them as feelings of joy, feelings of happiness, feeling as of ease and peace. So I will attract more things that will, because it's a law of resonance, you attract what you send out. So if I'm in lower frequencies, I will attract more things to be angry about, to be scared about, all those kind of things. That's the power of the frequencies.
Okay.
So if you're really struggling in your life, it means that your frequencies are too low. That's just a simple formula. That when your frequencies are high, you don't have resistance. You flow through life, and life seems easy. People always say, "Oh, I think you're very busy." I say, "I'm not busy at all. I choose to not to be bored. So I'm always doing something, but I'm not doing something because I'm busy. I'm because my life flows. You know, I can take vacations when I want. I can go wherever I want. That's the life we want to create, where everything flows without resistance. That's the life of high
Okay.
frequencies. That's the life of joy and happiness."
And what about karma? I think karma and karma burning can also be something very helpful to get and stay in high frequency.
Absolutely. First, we need to define karma. This is just for everyone to understand what we're talking about, because the word karma is often abused. And oh, yeah, it's your karma. What does that mean? It's your karma, right? So let's define karma. The way there are two types of karma basically. One is, I call it heavy karma. It is like when you see like in a cartoon the prisoners with this iron ball around their ankles. That is heavy karma, right? So a light karma is higher frequencies. So heavy karma often comes from unresolved issues from this life, but also from parallel lifetimes. So what we call karma burning is to burn the heavy frequencies, the heavy burdens we have taken with us. And now we need those heavy burdens in eternity, because that's the way we learn on this planet. So it is not everybody has some karma. Some people have less heavy karma, some people have more. But when your life is really tough, really hard, really struggling, it means you have a lot of burden that you carry with you. And this technique of karma burning, there are different ways to do it. We've learned from Buddhist master how to burn karma with breathing. That's one of the things that we teach. But we can also do it through visualizations. So in the course, we do it with specific visualizations, and people have incredible reactions to the burning of karma, because sometimes we see past lives, sometimes we feel pain leaving our body. So when, for example, cancer is heavy energies that have manifested
Mhm.
themselves, materialized themselves. That's a form of heavy karma. Most people don't understand that. Degeneration of the body is also heavy energies. So the more we burn the heavy energies, the lighter we become, and also the healthier we become. So in the
Okay.
course, we burn the karma because many of us have had lives where we were punished to be able to be a seer or to see the future or share information from the other stuff.
Mhm.
So it's a very important part of our training. And you must understand this training is unique because this is 100% channel training by 5 masters. One of them was Nikola Tesla. One of them was Nostradamus. One of them was Edgar Casey. One of them was a German channeler, Maria Orsic. And one of them is an extraterrestrial from the Asgard system, who is called Ascom. And they together created this course. And they put in everything in there that everyone going through this course will find what's best for them, which is the best
Mhm.
channel. Some people will only channel the highest self. Some people will channel Jesus or archangels or whatever. So some people have agreements with other beings even before they came to this planet, right? That so that they are connected to those beings, and those beings are given permission to use them to bring new messages in the world. And we see this happening in our group. We have over 1,000 people already doing this course,
Mhm.
and we're getting messages every day from the people. Joy right now, my wife is channeling poems. So
Mhm.
she's right now she is in a in a phase where every day new poems come through that are inspiring. So it's interesting what we can do with these kind of things. It's just crazy stuff.
Yeah, I can confirm this course is really not from this world. It's really amazing, so deep, and also so many different impulses on your body and your brain and your higher self. I can really confirm it. It's really amazing. Um, for a little switch, I want to ask you something more personal, dear
Sure.
Roy. How do you start your day and why do you start it in that way?
Okay, so first of all, I am going to live at least till 125, 120, 25. So you have to understand that our body needs special, I would say, attention in order to stay in a great shape. Right now, I'm 68, and my goal is to become more vital, stronger, and more energetic as I grow old, instead of the
Yeah.
normal way where most people go. So there are a couple of things that we need to understand for that. Number one is we want to be always in a peaceful state. So for me, I call it the Zen state. I do not allow anyone to influence my Zen state. The only one who still can do that a little bit is my wife. But okay, that's fine. Okay, I can miss her and things like that. So that can be there. But it means that when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is setting my intention for the day.
Mhm.
I ask myself, how do I want this day to be? What do I want to experience this day? How do I want to be at the end of the day? So I want a clear vision when I go to bed at night, how I want to go to bed. Now, number one,
Okay.
I never go to bed tired. I go to bed because my body needs sleep, right?
Mhm.
It's time to go to sleep. I can go until 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. I can sleep three hours if I want to, but I'm honoring my body. I ask my body what it needs, and my body always will wake up in the time that it needs. I don't work with an alarm. So that's the first thing. The second thing I do is my breathing exercise.
Mhm.
So we need to keep our lungs in a very good state, because the less our capacity to breathe, the quicker we're going to die. So the stronger your lungs, the longer you're going to live. So I do my breathing exercise in the morning. And an important part of the breathing exercise is to pump up. Let's say we have a karma burning breathing.
Mhm.
I do the karma burning breathing to burn any negative energy. And then I train my lungs by holding my breath as long as I can to create what's called hypoxia.
Mhm.
Hypoxia is where the oxygen level goes down, And this way we keep the lungs in a super state, right? That's the one thing. And also that has effect on our heart. Then I am doing, I go, normally I do my exercises. I like to do stretching. My wife calls it yoga. I call it stretching. I just do my stretching because I'm a martial artist. And then normally that takes all together an hour, sometimes more. And then I normally end up with meditating and asking my higher self, okay, what should I do paying attention to today? What are the things that I must do? And this could be very mundane things. Call this person, finish this video, do this. So I get the exact priorities from up there. And also, I noticed right now I'm getting a lot of a connection with people before I even meet them. So I'm gonna check, okay, is there some person I need to give some healing right now? Do I need to work on someone? Every day I send also, if I'm with my wife or not, I send her healing energy because I want her also to be supported by the light. So I send it my love and my healing to her. So that's my morning routine.
Great.
And so it is for my mind, for my
Okay.
heart, for my lungs, and of course to live long and prosper.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing with us. And if you like to create your quantum power identity, then check out the live event Awaken Your Quantum Power Identity with Stefanie Bruns and Dr. Roy Martina. It takes place on the 25th of November until the 29th of November, and it is available as online ticket. And I've packed the link in the show notes. And dear Roy, can you tell us a little bit more about this event, Awaken Your Quantum Power Identity with Stefanie?
Okay, so what is important to understand right now is that we're living in the most interesting times of probably history right now, because we've reached the point in the cycle of the planet Earth where we're going through a very dark energy cloud before we can reach the light. So we're going from Pisces, the time of karma, the time of victimhood, the time of sinners, to the time of light. So we're going from the male dominated society, and we need to move to a more female kind of society, from yang to yin. That's the cycle we are right now in. And the COVID pandemic is part of that cycle. It is created so that we are now being bombarded with negative energies, right? We are being bombarded never before in our lifetimes with so much fear, so much negativity, so much misinformation, so much people you cannot trust, even the governments you cannot trust anymore. They're doing things that are totally unscientific, illogical, and they're now putting poisons in more and more bodies than they ever done before. This is the time we are in. We are living in a collective doom scenario. It is war. Children are growing up in a war zone. Children are being traumatized
Yeah.
by fear, by guilt tripping, by wearing masks, by all this kind of stuff. That we're having a generation now that's bombarded with negativity like never before. So we will see a lot of trauma coming out of this. So what we, Stephanie and I decided to be doing is to train leaders. And then we have access mainly now to coaches and some healers to train them how to help people to get out of this collective, I call it karma, the collective karma of Pisces time that is blocking us from going to Aquarius time.
Yeah.
And we did not reach even the most deep point yet. This is the beginning.
Okay.
I'm not a doom stinker. I'm the most positive, optimistic person on this planet, but I'm also connected to
Yeah.
information. So I know that we didn't reach the deepest point yet. We will go deeper yet. So we need the leaders now. We need the people now who can help others and teach others how to break free from these links of heaviness and karma. So what we discovered is that in the seven major chakras, each one is resonating with a specific fear. And we're going to teach people how to remove the karma of these fears and how to change these fears into flow, the flow of life. And when we balance all the seven chakras, you are now completely aligned with your best future possible. So this is our goal, but our goal is not to give a workshop, make a little bit of money and move on. Our
Yeah.
goal is to pass on the information to a group of people who will then spread it in their own way. We done another workshop together before, and we're very happy to see what's happening in the group. I mean, some people are teaching out karma burning, the people are
Yeah.
moving on. I'm so happy that this is happening. And we expect the same thing for this course, that people will
Okay.
learn how to help people burn karma of the chakras, kick out of the collective fear, and become light as a feather to fly to the future. We need this kind of people right now in big amounts. That's why we're giving this workshop.
Yeah, I can also recommend the course. I was a part of the money course you did some weeks ago, and it was really amazing. I can also share a short story. Right after the course, I went to the parking machine and I inserted money, and I got a lot of money back, and also my paid ticket that immediately took place, and that showed me that I was in the right energy. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and the second thing, if you like to become a general and get extrasensory information, I can recommend the online course Quantum Extrasensory Perception. It's called a QESP, and this course is available in English and Dutch actually. And by February, it will also be in German available. So if you buy it now, let's say in English, you will also get the German version afterwards, and you can start right away. And the link is also in the show notes. And dear Roy, please tell us a little bit more about the course. You also mentioned it before, but what is the special thing about that
Okay,
course?
right. So a lot of people always ask me, is the course live? No, I cannot do a live course for 100 days, number one. So here's what's most important in the course. The most important in the course is for you to create new habits in your life, how you start your day, like we
Mhm.
spoke before. How do you go to sleep? So those are the beginning and the end of the day, because during the night, also a lot of things are happening. But during the night, we can still channel dreams. We can astral travel. We can do a lot of things in the night. We can solve problems in the night. So we're teaching people how to do that. So start in the morning, the evening, and in between, you have to see you have a daily mini workshop.
Mhm.
Every day, it's 30 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer. But let's say an average of 30 minutes, where I'm working with the students. We're doing a system that we call the 5 elements. We're doing points on the body to manage the emotions. We're balancing the chakras. And then we have a special way to train the brains to receive information out of the quantum field and translate it into actionable information. So we create what's called the communication center, in a virtual communication center. And every day we go to visit it. And in the virtual communication, we have all the 5 senses. We're using that, or smell, or taste, but also our eyes, hearing, touch. Everything is in there.
Uh-huh.
We have in there a time travel machine, a healing chamber. We have a meeting coaching chamber. We have a sitting chamber. We have a communication room with different screens, a library, what we call answering machine, iPads, everything. And this training opens the brain, because we want to target different centers in the brain to receive information.
Mhm.
And everyone who does this, and does this for a while, start now to open up the channels. And what we know, it takes 100 days, according to the Chinese Qigong master, to master energy. That's why it's 100 days. And then we have a bonus of 2 weeks for those people who want to have an official diploma. There's a 2 weeks, 14 lessons in the end, where you're channeling
Uh-huh.
specific beings, and then you choose the best message that you want to share.
Uh-huh.
And you need to show that you can do automatic writing, because
Uh-huh.
it's another skill set, and vocal channeling. And then you're official certified quantum ESP channeler.
Mhm.
And you can do this as a profession. I mean, what we give to people is priceless. When I coach someone, I'm not coaching the person from my brains. I'm coaching with other coaches. The other coaches are telling me what to do. Do you understand the difference? And for any practitioner, anyone who is a coach, a healer, a therapist, even Reiki practitioners or whatever. Massage therapists also can learn how to do healing while they're doing massage. So it takes 100 days to change the system, to open the meridians, to balance the chakras. And when you're ready, you can choose to continue with astral projection, astral traveling, which is something totally different. That's where you literally leave your body and you can travel for free all over in the universe. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the part I
It's
love.
really amazing what's all in this course. It's really a big course with a lot of videos. And as you told us, 100 days is not enough to get all skills, and it can really support your business. It can change your life. It can change your relationships, and also it can improve your health.
Absolutely, totally. And most importantly, it reminds you who you are.
Yeah.
That's I think the biggest gift I got from these I would say trainings is that I know who I am. You know, when I started, so what's my biggest challenge is
Okay.
knowing who you are, and then when you behave like not who you are, that's very frustrating because you know this is not me. This is not me. I want to go back to me.
You
Right?
leave off your mask and you remember, you connect to source, you love how you were born. Okay,
Exactly.
thank you very much for listening. We are now have reached the end of this podcast. If you like to support my podcast, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and to my podcast and give me a rating on Apple Podcasts. And Roy, if you like, please give us a short final word for our listeners.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that the most important things that we want to carry through life is just the concept to know that we are beings made of light that are from unconditional love. That's who we are. So if we can know that and remember that, and we start now doing acts of kindness to everyone, and I really look at our emotions, knowing that emotions remind us from our wounds or traumas. So when we heal our traumas, the emotions go away. So become aware of your emotions and do your utmost best to be friendly, to be loving to everyone, to treat people with respect. Even when I'm in a restaurant, you know, I talk with people, with the waiters, I see them, and to connect always to the greatness in others, even if they don't behave in a way that you like. Because if they're nice, it's easy. That's not the challenge. It is the people who are not nice, the people who are not respectful. It's the people who are treating you badly. Those are the ones you need to love the most. That is the
Okay.
trick, right? Most people go, no, these people are toxic. No, these people need our love. Send love to them, even on a distance. Wish them well. Bless them with your love. Blessings, when you bless a person with your love, you always are going to be blessed. And that will change your life doing that in this way.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, dear Roy, for this podcast interview. Thanks a lot. And now it's time to say goodbye to our listeners. Thank you for watching. Bye bye from us.
See
Bye.
you.